Hi, Aries and Aries Rising. Here is your horoscope for December 2025. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. Okay, we're finally here, the last month of 2025, and what a year it's been. When you look back at this year, especially with all these retrogrades, we still have all these outer retrograde planets, and Mercury just came out of retrograde. You're probably reviewing where you've been, some of the choices you've made, the past, but now this month, we have an opportunity to look to the future. And this is because of the Sagittarian energy here with the Sun and Mars in Sagittarius in this ninth house. And Venus just entered Sagittarius as well. And later on in the month, Mercury will also enter Sagittarius. So we'll have a big party in this ninth house. Now, this has a lot to do with the future. It has a lot to do with optimism, having fun, adventure, politics, religion, meaning of life. All of that stuff falls under this umbrella in the ninth house. But Sagittarius is a fire sign like yours. So if you're an Aries rising or a sun sign in Aries, this is a very, very general overview of what the month holds for you using Western tropical astrology, using the equal house system. As you can see here, all the houses are zeroed out. And this is basically a sun sign reading. So, this is meant to be a general look at where the planets are. Now, your birth chart and your birthday are going to be completely different. So some of these energies will shift a little bit or will have different alignments there for you. So you have to look at this chart and look at your own personal chart and compare the two. And that's how you do it. So, but this is still going to be very accurate. It'll be about 75% accurate. So let's dive in a little deeper and see what the heck is going on this month to end 2025 as we get ready for 2026, which is going to be a huge year for many of you because Saturn and Neptune are going to leave Pisces for good. They will not return to those signs, and they will enter your first house once again in 2026. So major changes on the horizon for many of you. All right. But this month really gives you a chance to say, all right, I'm going to face this new year head on. I'm going to make changes. I'm going to start something new. I'm going to be, learning something new. I'm going to be exploring something new. That's what this month is all about for many of you. Okay. Even though we do have these outer planets that are in retrograde, like Jupiter's in retrograde, I believe until March. Uranus will be in retrograde as well. And of course, Neptune is in retrograde, but it comes out of retrograde this month, which is going to be very helpful. All right. So we see Saturn already has come out of retrograde. So, but these outer planets act as reminders, okay? And especially this one here, Jupiter in Cancer in the fourth house, really has you reflecting on your home, your feelings, emotions this month. But again, there's optimism in the air as your ruler, Mars, is in a very good position, and the Sun is there also to help out, and Venus. And speaking of Venus, let's talk about Venus here for a second because she just entered, as you can see here, she's at 1 degree. She just entered at the last day of November, and will be transiting this part of your chart, for at least 4 weeks. So this helps with socializing, with money matters, with, buying things, traveling abroad, learning new things, having more fun. Venus could be very charming in Sagittarius, also could be very impulsive, like spending money on travel or, buying things you may not need. There's definitely a sense of impulsiveness here with Mars and Venus in Sagittarius here. Okay, so, but this could be beneficial for socializing. Something that Sagittarians love to do is socialize and interact and laugh and have fun. And that is absolutely the ninth house. The ninth house falls under humor and, sharing ideas and looking at the bigger picture. So this is going to be on your mind big time this month for many of you. You're going to feel restless. You're going to need to break out, explore, travel, whatever, floats your boat in your own personal chart. Now, if you're not physically traveling, you're going to be mentally traveling because of these planets in the 12th house of spirituality. So pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to your visions because they are trying to show you something. Remember, we are consciousness in a physical suit, but that consciousness is not bound by this physical suit. So when we dream or we have visions, we are tapping into something outside of the physical suit. That's how it works. All right. So this can be, like I said, very positive energy for the future. And Pluto is also going direct in Aquarius, which is really good for far distance viewing or premonitions or hope for the future. And so there's a lot of that going on. So there's a lot of good stuff happening here this month that you really need to pay attention to before we go into 2026. Now, the full moon in Gemini, speaking of thinking, Gemini is your opposite, not the opposite sign, it's the opposite sign of Sagittarius, but Geminis love to think and overthink. And so the full moon in Gemini is going to continue to pound away at mental activity, travel, exploring, wanting to communicate, wanting to share ideas, wanting to explore the meaning of life, the purpose. And so this is going to be at 13 degrees of Gemini. So if that is in your birth chart, you want to pay attention to it because it's going to be very important. You know, both Sagittarius and Gemini can be visionaries. You know, they are definitely associated with visionary ability. So I would say, you know, if you get a sense of something that's coming that you need to focus on, absolutely. If you have a sense of needing to share some form of information or ideas, absolutely put that forth. If you're thinking about writing or publishing, that is absolutely on the table as well. So, but the full moon in Gemini is going to bring something to light and say, I get it now. I see. All right, let me, you know, take care of this. Let me talk to somebody else about this. Let me share my ideas and thoughts. So it's about self-expression. And so this could be very important for many of you. So I would suggest no holding back, you know, talk to who you need to talk to, express yourself in some way, whether it's through video, through writing, through speaking to someone that needs your help. You know, all of that is going to fall under this umbrella of this full moon. Now, to add with the imagination and the spiritual process, Neptune will start going direct in Pisces. Right there it is in stationary position. As you notice, it's sitting right on the ascendant. You know, the ascendant is the cusp of the first house. And as Neptune continues to move forward, it will eventually move into the first house. And I believe that is going to be in February, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have my notes for the transits for next year, but it will eventually make its way here. But while it's here now in direct motion over the course of the next week, it will move forward from our perspective on Earth. And so this adds a lot of imagination, a lot of thought, a lot of spirituality. For instance, if you're an artist or somebody that's very creative, you're going to be inspired even more with that creativity. You will be inspired by spirituality and mysticism or religion if you're religious, okay? Because Neptune is associated with religion and spirit and spirituality. It's the doorway to these other realms of consciousness that are non-physical. So when it's going direct, it definitely amps up the energy on an outward way instead of an internal way, which it's been doing for quite a while since it was in Pisces in retrograde in the 12th house. So this could be great for, again, psychic ability, seeing the future, having premonitions. This also enhances that doorway. So pay attention to those subtle images, those subtle visions, those sudden dreams, because they're trying to show you something about your subconscious. And it's going to be very important for your future. Now, Mercury re-enters Sagittarius on the 12th, the 11th into the 12th. There it is. Because remember, it was retrograde for a while. And it'll stay in Sagittarius now until the beginning of January. So look at this. This adds another element of optimism, the future, travel, exploring, speaking your mind. This is all positive energy because Sagittarians is one of the most positive energy of the zodiac, Leo being the other. And so here we see 4 planets now in the 9th house by the 12th. So there's no reason to hold back. There's no reason to not take that short trip or long distance trip, whatever you see fit, to explore, to get an understanding of the meaning of life in your life and your purpose. And so my job here is just to share some thoughts on the cycles and trends and the patterns. And one of the things I want to share with you, what I've learned over my 40 plus years of understanding human nature and spirituality is, we are here to have experiences in this physical suit. Because when we leave this physical suit, we no longer have a body or a form that we could do what we could do here in this physical suit. So as much as life is painful, and uncertain, we must always appreciate we have a physical suit. We were fortunate enough to get back into a physical suit to have experiences in this reality. That's how you have to look at things, okay? And this energy here will absolutely help you with that. So self-expression, creativity, travel, exploring, all under the umbrella of Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the Sun going through this part of your chart. Now, Mars enters Capricorn. Now, Mars in Capricorn, because Mars is your ruler, entering Capricorn is actually pretty good. Mars works very well in Capricorn. It takes the impulsive energy of Aries, Mars, and literally puts a governor on it, to say, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this, but let's do it in order. Let's cross the T's, dot the I's. And so Mars in Capricorn, for many of you, is going to have you focusing on career and job and your business or whatever it is that you're involved in, and say, okay, next year I'm going to do this, this, and this. And this is going to help you a lot. So this will add some discipline to your life, but it's a beneficial discipline. So this could be really something good as well. The new moon in Sagittarius continues the optimism role here in the 9th house. So this is saying, I need to go in a new direction. I need to change. I need to go in a new place. Maybe I need to move. This is the theme here with this new moon in Sagittarius. So in order to get the energy out, I would absolutely suggest doing something fun or adventurous, within reason. And, get that energy moving, because that's how it works. Everything is energy. Your body is energy. So use this optimistic new moon to create something new. Sun enters Capricorn. Now we're down to business. Now you notice Mars is, you moved into Capricorn as well. And we have the Sun in Capricorn. And of course, this is all about getting things done. All right. And so this is going to be very beneficial with the Sun here, because the Sun represents creativity. And, with Mars here, you've got this creative desire to create and build and structure and foundation and focus on your present status and how people see you and being in the public. That's what it means, because the Sun is at its high point here along with Mars. So don't be surprised that you get a lot more attention in the next 30 days with the Sun going through Capricorn. And last but not least, we have Venus that enters Capricorn on the 24th there. So everything is switched from the 9th house to the 10th house, which is about status, career, business. Now, Venus in Capricorn is, it's basically cold, hard business, structure, foundation. How hard do you want to put the effort in to get rewarded? How much money do you want to make? Grabbing attention, anything to do with your reputation. All of that stuff is going to fall under this umbrella when Venus enters Capricorn. But the good news here is because Mars, the Sun, and Venus are now in the 10th house, you have the drive, the discipline to accomplish, to achieve. So as we go into 2026, you are absolutely poised for starting something new or bringing something to life where you have this desire and energy to make it work. All right, so that's how it works. Anyway, there's the general overview. If you want to know more, I do an extended version of this in my Inner Circle community. I left a link down below. And of course, I do the weekly astrology overview. We talk live stream twice a week, Sundays and Thursdays. I get to interact with a lot of members, and I teach astrology there. And of course, we go over all of the stuff going on in the world and the news. And, my members usually get information ahead of time before I post it anywhere else. All right, so consider joining. Anyway, have a great December. And a great new year, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.